Microsoft just admitted something that could shake the foundations of the biggest AI IPOs in history. The company that owns nearly half of OpenAI and has spent $13 billion making it the most valuable AI startup on Earth is now quietly testing a Chinese AI model to replace OpenAI inside its own flagship enterprise product, DeepSeek, inside Microsoft Copilot, in the product used by hundreds of millions of enterprise customers worldwide. The reason is price, and the numbers are devastating for OpenAI's business model. Welcome back to AI Assets, the channel where we break down the biggest and most important stories in AI and tech investing every single day. Today we are going deep on Microsoft's DeepSeek evaluation, what it means for OpenAI, Anthropic, the entire AI model pricing war, and why this story could be the most important signal for AI investors heading into the second half of 2026. Let us start with exactly what is happening. Axios broke the story on June 16th. Microsoft is evaluating a self-hosted, fine-tuned version of DeepSeek v4 as a cheaper alternative to Power Copilot Cowork, the AI agent built into Microsoft 365 that handles tasks like drafting emails, summarizing documents, scheduling meetings, and running multi-step workflows across enterprise applications. Copilot Cowork currently runs on models from OpenAI and Anthropic. Both are expensive. Microsoft has told Axios directly that Copilot Cowork cannot work on unlimited pricing, meaning the cost of running OpenAI and Anthropic models at the scale that enterprise customers demand is so high that Microsoft cannot offer the product at a price point that makes commercial sense. The decision on which model will power the cheaper tier of Copilot Cowork is expected within the next few weeks. If DeepSeek is chosen, it will run entirely within Microsoft's Azure cloud, with Microsoft's enterprise-grade security, compliance, and data residency controls applied on top. Customers will choose it optionally, knowing their data never leaves Microsoft's infrastructure. Now let us talk about why the cost difference is so extreme that Microsoft is seriously considering a Chinese model over its own $13 billion investment. DeepSeek v3.2 costs approximately 28 cents per million input tokens and 42 cents per million output tokens. GPT 5.4 from OpenAI costs roughly 10 times more on input and 36 times more on output. That is not a marginal pricing advantage. That is a completely different cost structure. For a product like Copilot Cowork, where enterprise users are running hundreds of automated tasks per week, that cost difference translates directly into whether the product is profitable or not. Microsoft has already fine-tuned a DeepSeek model it could deploy immediately. This is not exploratory research. This is a production-ready evaluation with a decision deadline measured in weeks. Now let us talk about what this means for investors, because the implications stretch far beyond one product feature decision. The first and most direct impact is on OpenAI's IPO valuation. OpenAI is targeting a public listing in late 2026 at a valuation approaching $300 billion. That valuation rests on a specific assumption that enterprises are willing to pay premium prices for GPT models because they deliver premium results that cheaper alternatives cannot match. Microsoft's evaluation of DeepSeek for Copilot Cowork is a direct public challenge to that assumption. If the company with the deepest knowledge of OpenAI's models, the company that co-developed them and has exclusive commercial rights to deploy them, decides that a Chinese open-source model is good enough for enterprise AI tasks at 1/10 the cost, Every institutional investor reading the OpenAI S1 will ask the same question. How durable is this pricing power? The answer that Microsoft is implicitly providing is not as durable as the IPO roadshow will claim. The second implication is for Anthropic. Copilot Cowork currently runs on both OpenAI and Anthropic models. Microsoft replacing one or both with DeepSeek is a direct revenue reduction for Anthropic, and it comes at the exact moment when Anthropic is trying to establish the revenue trajectory that justifies its $380 billion valuation heading into its own IPO. The third sector to watch is the broader enterprise SaaS market. If Microsoft, the largest enterprise software company in the world, formally validates DeepSeek as enterprise-grade by running it inside Microsoft 365, it opens the door for every other enterprise software company to do the same. Salesforce, ServiceNow, SAP, Workday. Every company that currently licenses OpenAI or Anthropic APIs to power their AI features will immediately evaluate whether they can deliver equivalent functionality at 10 times lower cost using DeepSeek or other open-source alternatives. That is a structural repricing of the entire enterprise AI market. And it happens fast once Microsoft pulls the trigger. Here is what the market is missing, and this is the angle that almost no coverage is addressing. Everyone is framing this as a cost story. Microsoft wants to reduce its AI bill, so it is shopping for cheaper models. That framing is accurate, but incomplete. The deeper story is about control. Last week, we covered Satya Nadella's warning about AI concentration. His public statement that a world where a handful of AI models capture all economic value is politically unsustainable. 3 days after that statement, this DeepSeek evaluation became public. That is not a coincidence. Nadella is executing a deliberate multi-step strategy. Step 1. Publicly frame AI model dependence as dangerous, both economically and geopolitically. Step 2. Demonstrate that Microsoft itself is not dependent on any single model by evaluating alternatives. Step 3. Position Azure as the neutral infrastructure layer that can run any model. OpenAI, Anthropic, DeepSeek, Mistral, Meta Llama, giving Microsoft permanent relevance regardless of which model wins the quality race. The genius of this strategy is that Microsoft profits in every scenario. If OpenAI wins the model quality race, Microsoft profits through its equity stake and its API licensing revenue. If DeepSeek or open source models win on price, Microsoft profits by hosting them on Azure and capturing the infrastructure margin. If enterprises build their own custom models, Microsoft profits through Azure AI Foundry, the platform they use to do it. Microsoft has engineered itself into a position where it cannot lose. And the DeepSeek evaluation is the clearest public demonstration yet of exactly that strategy in action. The risk this creates for investors is concentrated entirely in OpenAI and Anthropic pre-IPO valuations. If you are holding private shares in either company, expecting a premium multiple on IPO, the DeepSeek story is a direct valuation headwind. Not a death blow, but a meaningful compression of the premium the market will assign to AI model pricing power. Here is what happens next, and what you must watch. The first catalyst is Microsoft's model selection announcement. The company said it will confirm its choice when the cheaper Copilot Cowork tier ships, expected within weeks. If DeepSeek is announced as the choice, expect an immediate reaction across OpenAI adjacent stocks. AI software companies that license OpenAI APIs, and potentially NVIDIA, if markets interpret it as a signal that cheaper models reduce total compute demand. The second is the OpenAI and Anthropic S1 filings. Both are expected in Q3. Watch specifically for how they describe enterprise pricing durability and competitive moat against open-source alternatives. After this Microsoft story, any language that sounds like the companies are confident about premium pricing will be scrutinized extremely aggressively by institutional investors. The third is the broader enterprise AI repricing wave. Track Salesforce, ServiceNow, and SAP earnings in late July and August. If any of these companies announce they are evaluating open-source AI models to replace licensed API costs, it will confirm that Microsoft's DeepSeek evaluation was the opening shot in an industry-wide cost optimization cycle. Smart positioning right now means two things. First, Microsoft remains one of the strongest AI investments available precisely because of the strategy we just described. It wins in every model scenario. Second, any concentrated exposure to pre-IPO OpenAI or Anthropic shares deserves a hard look at the pricing power assumptions embedded in those valuations. The moat is narrower than the roadshow will suggest. Microsoft just showed the world that even the company that created the modern AI market is not loyal to its own product when the price difference is 10 to 36 times. That is the most honest signal the enterprise AI market has ever sent about where model pricing is heading. The race to the bottom has started at the top, and every investor who understands that dynamic now has a meaningful edge over those who do not. AI Assets is here every day to make sure you have that edge. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell.